What is up, guys? Welcome to the Gold Star Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all things collecting regarding Pokemon cards. And today is a very exciting episode because we have an incredibly special guest joining Austin and myself. This is David Persin, the world's #1 English Pokemon collector. Just out there, he's awesome, incredible guy. David, thank you so much for just taking the time to come on our podcast and talk with us. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's very nice and kind of you, and I couldn't be happier than to be with you. I'm a little bit more happy that Austin's with us now than you, Colin. But I'm just we don't see him as much. But I'm glad that we're all here together. So.
Yes, indeed.
So for those of you who don't know, David is widely regarded in the world as the world's biggest Pokemon collector. If you need references of any kind, you can even go watch guys like TCA have talked about you, David, and stuff. That's actually how I found your channel originally, was through TCA Gaming talking about you. I know you're kind of friends with him and stuff, but whenever TCA Gaming makes a comment on one of his videos that you have stuff that he hasn't ever been able to get his hands on, I think that speaks volume for kind of the collector of Pokemon cards that you are. And so we were kind of wondering, why don't you just tell us a little bit of your story today, get us started? Like, how do you get started into this, and where are you today? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I got started in all of this. I mean, like everybody back in the late '90s when the hobby was actually coming on, coming into the stores and everything. But I didn't do much at that point, other than I had young kids and we bought a few cards and whatever. I didn't really do anything until about 2004, and then. I talk about the story that one night in 2004, I was binge shopping like I've been known to do too much, a shopaholic. And so I got on the computer and ended up, for no reason whatsoever, completely random, I bought 2 sets of Pokemon cards. And that was the Team Aqua, Team Magma, Team Aqua, and the EX Dragon. And the next morning I woke up after spending $700 on 2 what he called master sets. And I looked at my wife and I said, I have a confession and I hope you'll stay with me. But I need you to know that I've done something and I have no idea why.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of it. Because of the way that I am, I've been a collector of baseball cards and those kinds of things since I was a young child. I actually transitioned that collection into a national sports card collection business that I was selling in the late 80s. And so I've always had it kind of in my blood. Well, when that happened back with the Pokemon situation, I woke up the next morning and said, what did I do this for? And what is this hobby involved with? And how many more sets are there? And what do I need to start to really jump in? And I just got to work. And back then, when it wasn't very happening anymore, the hobby, it wasn't really much in fashion, I started looking at sets to buy and was questioning people as to, could I buy your whole collection? You have 1 set out there. What else do you have? And so I got lucky to buy a couple of large collections then, and then one more maybe 2 or 3 years later. And those collections started me in a position where I had things that other people just didn't have. I had certain cards and certain, tropical mega battle sets. And I should clarify just one thing, Colin, because there is a little bit of competition. It does not come from me in this hobby at all, but it does come from others. So, let's make sure we talk about that. And you said this once, and then you didn't say it the next time. I'm the #1 English version Pokemon card collector. I'm not the Japanese. I'm not the guy that has 8,720 million Charizards. There's these guys like Gary and TCA and stuff. They all do their own thing. I'm off doing my own thing in a niche that's purely English. And then, and that started the journey. Yeah. And that started the journey. And then as each year went on, for some reason, and I don't know about this either, at about 2006 or 7, I started going to the annual World Championships every single year. I took my wife as a reason to get away. We have 8 children, so over the years, there was never a time to get away. This was the one time we could. And I started buying the World Championship cards. And there was not and has not been much demand for those over the years, surprisingly. When you look at the rarity of the World Championship cards, there is between 3 and 6 of any one. That's it. They're more rare than the Japanese cards, period. But there's been no popularity. And one of the problems with that is that I have them all. So who wants them if I have them all, right? So it's kind of led to its own thing. It's great for me. It's not great for the pricing of the cards. People put them up anywhere from $5, $10, $20, $50,000. Very tough to sell. But it's been, again, it got me ahead of the game. And I, through the years, continued to really focus on those, because those are the toughest things to get outside of the champion and the finalist and all the stamped cards. And that's kind of what took me to here. Now, lastly, we get to the pandemic. The pandemic locked me up. I have underlying lung issues and stuff, and my work wouldn't let us go into work anyway. So I'm working a lot more from home. I have all these cards, boxes and boxes and binders and binders. I have 2, 3, 4 of all of the early sets. I only need one. So I've got to get through all of it at some point to figure it out. And I started to realize, did I really have all these cards that I needed, or was I kind of this fraud out there, claiming something that was not legitimate? And I started going to work and probably bought between 500 and 1,000 of the master set variant type of cards over that time. And which put me in a position where I could actually say, if somebody says, we want to see your binder, prove it to us, hold it up in front of the computer because you're nothing but a fraud, I could actually do that. And that's where I am today. I'm very close now to owning every single English card that's ever been produced. You'll see on some of my videos where I'm asking for some Dragons Exalted blister pack, variant. So it's getting very close, and it's pretty exciting to be in that position.
Yeah, that's incredible. I can't imagine just thinking about, like, you go to Walmart, you even see like the 3-pack blisters, like those random holo cards that are worth probably like $1 are all, like, I'm sure that adds up. That gets so incredibly hard to keep track of if you're talking about for every single set ever made. Like that just kind of blows my mind to think that you have or are working towards just having every single one of those.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, or kind of get your opinion on, because I really like this, because everyone has a different definition of it. Master sets or full collections. There are a lot of people that'll advertise that they have a master set, but I don't think they realize, that all the different variants. And like you explained in some of your videos, how, some of those cards won't be available for some time, or the different types of stamps or variants of different cards.
Yeah, very much so. When I look out there, like, for example, if I was looking to buy a Hidden Fate set, because I've got someone that typically makes the sets for me. Mm-hmm. And when I buy that set from that person, I get the full set. I get whatever variants come in the theme decks, because they're able to get that. And I will get the pre-release and the pre-release staff cards. And that technically is roughly a full set. You could argue that a full set is really just any card that comes out of anything you can get from a booster box. So that is one way to say real full set. When you start moving from a full set, which now adds in things that come from other products like theme decks, the non-holo variants, or the holographic cards that were non-holo in the set, or you start dealing with the pre-release, or you start dealing with those blister packs, or collection box cards, or tin cards, or like this new Battle Academy box. Yep. All of the 2 out of the 3 decks, every card is a variant. So you've got 120 cards in those alone with their own stamps, plus probably 3/4 of the other 60. So that means, yes, I'm not done with those sets. I thought I was done. Now I'm going back and putting 7 cards in 7 cards in the Lost Thunder, and this much and this much and this much. So the full master set is really every single card that would have the set number at the bottom right. It finishes with the same number and the same set icon in it as well.
Yeah, because another crazy one is, I believe, I forget which set it is, but like the one they just released at GameStop, where if you spend X amount of money, you get the non-holo variant of Caparajah V, or just a Caparajah non-holo, which technically would go with that. So that's another one that was released after that set had came out.
Yeah, correct. I just went to GameStop 3 days ago. They didn't have both theme decks. Of course, I collect my collection is one of every card, one of every booster box ever made that has different cards. I don't care if it's got a blue wing or a green wing. It's whatever the cards are inside. Yep. One of every theme deck. So I'm at GameStop and I'm saying, I got to spend $15, get the stupid promo card. No, stupid, but you get the point. And I buy they don't have both theme decks. So they only have one of the 2 of the whatever this Darkness Ablaze set is. So I said, listen, sir, it's not my fault you don't have 2 theme decks. And I know it's only $12.99, but I'm going to spend $13 and you got to give me that promo card over there. And he goes, okay, I'll get it for you, whatever. So yeah, you're always having to look for the next thing that you need. Yeah, it doesn't, my wife's like, isn't it done? Aren't we done yet? And I go, no, honey, it's never going to be done.
It's never done. Something I
Never
wanted to
gonna be done,
ask
yeah.
you, someone with that insane of a collection like you have, can you pin down like what is your favorite card that you own? Is that even remotely possible for you, or if you even narrowed it down to like a set, like what are some of your most prized possessions and cards out of this entire just insane collection that you have?
Yeah, if you're in the sales world, okay, which I have a piece of my life that's there, I'm a financial advisor, and you have to talk to people about them gaining confidence and you helping them with with their financial planning and all that kind of stuff. I should have an answer for all of this, okay? I should have plan stories. I should have this all, because that would sure make me look so much better out there. But here's my reality. I have spent 20 years or whatever this journey has been just buying things to make sure that they're somewhere in the room. So I know that when it comes time, I have all of the cards. I have not spent that time looking at the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So every time someone asks me this, I do not have an answer. Mm-hmm. When I'm going and I'm doing a video showing Expedition or showing, Aquapolis or showing whatever, it's like the first time I'm showing while I'm dealing with my, subscribers or whatever, we're going through it together. It's like I'm looking at them for the first time going, wow, that heart gold, soul silver, that's kind of cool. Kind of different. So, yeah, so I really, and then there's the things I should say, like, oh, yeah, what you should say is, how can you not say your best, most favorite card is the pre-release Raichu or something, right? But the problem is, it's just a card.
Right.
And I don't know that it's any better than something else that that I'm looking at the Crystal Charizard or something that's a beautiful card. So no, I don't have a great answer. I'm now at a point where as I go through set by set and I put them together, finish them up, get all the variants in and all that's kind of done, that I'm now starting for the first time to be able to look at this stuff and really say, hey, I really like that card. I like that set more. But it's a work in progress, Con.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, especially for someone like you, who's collecting all these sets, I feel like you almost have to just check it off the list and move on, because Pokemon, I mean, how many sets are we getting this year? Like, we're getting 3 in like a 4-month span. I mean, it's just constantly throwing stuff at us. So I can't imagine the challenge of just your collection.
He had just mentioned the Battle Academy, just when he thought he was done, then they released Battle Academy that has more Hidden Fates cards with stamps on it. So who knows? Months from now, they're going to pick a couple other sets and say, here's some other cards for this set. So,
well, and picture the logistics of that, Austin, because so I opened that set. Mm-hmm. I sleeved up the cards just because I'm going to show them on a video maybe tomorrow or something. And in theory, I have to go now through my through every binder that the part of those sets come from and reorder them if I wanted to put them in the numerical order that I had them in. If I even think about that, I don't know if I can say this on the air, but I'm going to start drinking. So I can't, there's no way. Right now it's just like, okay, figure out a place to go put them. And maybe someday when my wife and I, are talking, I'll just give them to her and say, honey, here's the sets, here's the symbols, do the best you can and let me know where there comes up a problem. Because I've had to enlist her help recently just because it's been so much work and I just can't do it all.
I can only imagine, because my first set, so I got back into, I did collecting and stuff as a child, got out of the hobby a little bit and then got back in probably about the time Hidden Fates came out. So Darkness Ablaze is my first attempt at collecting what would we call like a full set, so anything you could pull out of a booster box. And I'm having a hard time just with that. So I can only imagine you going through countless and countless sets when new stuff comes out to just do that. I'm having, difficulty with just one set. So
yeah. And I talked about that. I talked about that too, that I think it's so important because of collation issues, that for those that are going to try to build a set, do it with a partner, do it with a friend or two, where you each commit to buy like 4 boxes. And so hopefully, that may take more than that, but I mean, where you commit to buy at least 4 boxes, because a master set would cost you between, give or take, around $800. Not a master set, a full set. Let's call it a full set. The basic bottom line set when it comes out about $800. So if you can get in for less than that on your own and have a bunch of duplicates and things you can hopefully, trade or sell off or whatever, that's, it's still kind of a win-win, even though it's a lot of labor involved. Yeah.
So changing gears just a little bit, and I think just judging by talking to you a little bit, I think I have an idea of what you're going to say. But I know, like, Austin and I, and on this podcast, we talk a whole lot about just grading cards, PSA, BGS, now CGC, and all this stuff. I know, like, Austin's a middleman for PSA cards. We're big grading. We harp on that a lot on this podcast, but we know you are not someone who grades your cards, and there's a lot of people out there who don't, and that's perfectly okay. So we would love to kind of hear, and think it'd be good for kind of our community to hear from someone who doesn't grade their cards. So can you just talk about kind of your opinions and stuff on that? I don't know, I thought it'd be kind of cool for our community who always hears like grade your cards, PSA, Beckett, all this stuff, like to hear the other side of that spectrum from someone like you, who I know doesn't really believe in, or maybe not necessarily believe, but who just doesn't grade things in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. And first of all, I want to answer it completely different than I actually realistically want to answer it, just because you said you knew what I was going to say. So I really want to throw a curveball at you right now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go straight and narrow. I've never been a grader. Okay. I don't, again, I'm very much into people doing what they want in their lives and making the choices that make them feel better. So grading is fine for those that want to grade. For me, it's many issues involved. Number one is I never started that way. So that makes a difference in just how you start out. You need to kind of follow a trend or pattern. Number two is I would always be afraid of sending off my cards. It's just part of the process, that maybe nothing will happen, but the one time nothing will happen is the one time I send the most valuable card and something's going to happen. And I'm going to say, what did I do? Number three is there's a tremendous amount of, well, not a tremendous amount, but relatively speaking, there's more cost to do it. I'd rather have that money to put into the cards. And number four, mainly, is the storage issues. So now, when I can thumb through binder pages and enjoy things and maybe hard card hold a few of my more valuable ones or whatever, it makes it a lot easier when you've got the kind of quantity of cards I have. That makes a big difference as well, just storing them alone. Then you get into the one of a kinds. So why do I want to take, and these are just me being very open and honest with you about my own feelings. Why do I want, so there's 3 world championship cards that get handed out prior to the 4th one being, or 3 for every level anyways, 3 1s, 3 2s, 3 3s, 3 4s, whatever it might be. Nowadays it could be 6 with VGC, but it doesn't matter. So I have one of them, and I might have the only one in the States and the only one that anybody knows of they can see. So why am I going to send that off so that somebody can give it a 7 when I haven't even touched the thing? It came right from the winner to my hands. But because it got to the winner as a 7, because it got manhandled or whatever by, the Pokemon folks. So for me, I don't want someone I don't have any necessary worry about authenticity. I have the reputation, that kind of thing. I don't want to be told my cards are a 7 if I think they're an 8 or 9. By the way, I'm a conservative grader, always on the conservative side. So, and also I know who works in those places, and it's nothing against the folks that work there, but they have 2 eyes and a light and, whatever they have, and somebody's 22 and somebody's 28 and somebody's 36, and it is what it is. So it's not, I don't need it. I don't need that. There's all kinds of politicizing around, you can't, that pre-release Raichu's not worth anything because they won't grade it. Okay. Well, when I put it up for sale, someone will buy it. So I'm sure of it. So it's just that it's not a necessity. That's all. One of the most frustrating things, I'll just finish this little piece by saying this. I feel so bad when I read the forums and the Facebook groups and stuff, and someone says, should I buy this? Should I do this? Like, they can't make their own decisions anymore. Should I grade this? You know what? Why? So you can keep up with the Joneses? If you love the cards and you don't need to grade them and you just like them the way they are, what does the case make the difference? Because, if everybody is grading towards the sense of we're going to sell it one day, then what are you collecting for? Right? You're then I guess you're running a business side, and I get that completely. But I just don't like that people always feel like they have to keep up. And I do it too. I mean, I look at I can't tell you how much stuff's coming out now, just stuff that I've never seen from people because of stuff I put out. I'm like, are they trying to be bigger and better than me? Because I don't need to be bigger and better. I'll be smaller and smaller. I'm okay. You know, I don't, it's fine. But I look at other people's stuff and I go, wow, I don't, those are beautiful cards. I can't, I get jealous. I get that ping of jealousy. I don't have the Japanese, you know, Venomoth, whatever, but they're all beautiful. They're all neat and they're all great. And, you know, so that's my long-winded.
No, that's awesome. And like I said, I wanted to ask you that because I wanted kind of our viewers and stuff to know that it doesn't, like, you collect how you want to collect, and it doesn't matter if I grade all my stuff just because I want to preserve it, or if, you know, we want to add value or something. If you love binder collections, which I do too, like, if that's how you want to collect, you collect how you want to, because that's what makes this hobby like so cool. Is you can, there are many ways to do it, many niches. If you want to collect Charizards or, I don't know, Rattatas for all I care, like that's what kind of makes the whole hobby cool, is you can kind of collect how you do or how you want to. So that's why I wanted to hear something like that and have our community kind of hear something like that from you. Just, I don't know, I think that's a cool message to kind of spread to people, is you can really do this hobby however you want to.
And I love that. I love that whole thing about this hobby. That's my most favorite part, is that everybody truly does seem to embrace other people and say, gosh, they're just collecting Umbreons. They're just collecting this. They're collecting just the first editions of the sets. They're doing, you know, Japanese, just, you know, phone cards. I mean, there's just so many ways that people can do it, and they're so creative. And I think that's fantastic. That's one of the most appealing parts of the innocence of it to me, and that, generally speaking, folks are much more embracing than I think they would be in other avenues. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly, that's one of the things that kind of got me with when I got back into Hidden Fates around that time. My favorite Pokemon's Arcanine and Growlithe. So I'm kind of doing my own little path where I'm trying to create my own little master set of all the Arcanine and Growlithe cards, starting all the way back from the first ones all the way up until now. So that's a rough one, because some of those cards are not cheap, but they're right back here in my binder.
Yeah.
I have them in order. It's one of those journeys that I'm on, so that's kind of one of those.
That's fantastic. All I can say, buddy, is get them graded, or they're not going to be worth a darn thing. Get that stuff down.
I'm gonna take one from you. To me, they're priceless.
Yes.
That binder back there, you couldn't offer me money for those cards. Once I
right,
they're mine. Those aren't being graded. They're staying.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. Good for you.
So, David, one other thing I wanted to ask you. We know, obviously, you've talked about you're trying to collect all the master sets. Are you a sealed collector at all? Like, do you collect booster boxes or sealed product as well? Or are you just strictly like, I want to complete the master sets and have the cards?
Yeah, so the collection is all of the cards of English derivation. Then it's one of every booster box, and one of every, so sealed booster box, and one of every sealed theme deck. That really is the basis of the collection. I don't do one of every, although I have a lot of this stuff, but I really need to I just need to sell it. I need to stop. The problem is I'm looking at other people that have the same stuff going, well, I have that stuff too, darn it. Why can't I keep it? But I have the boxes that are sealed. So I have cover arts, all of the cover arts from the very beginning. So base one, first edition and all the way through for many, many years, up to 2004 or 5. When I bought those collections, I have never sold those off. But I do need to really sell those to raise some capital just to continue to the collection. But all those packs, of course, are contained inside of the boxes. The only difference would be I have the blister packs as well, and I don't collect the blister packs. So yeah, I do collect all of the sealed stuff as well.
That's really cool. Like, just I don't know. That's really cool. Just, I can't imagine. I would love to just like see the room that you're holding all this stuff in, because that just blows my mind.
And Colin's the same way. Like, I can't keep stuff sealed. If we get it, it's hard for me to keep it sealed.
Yeah, Austin, will you say it again? Your volume is so light. I barely can hear you, and I just want to make sure I can hear you.
I said
that's better.
So for Colin and I, it's kind of the same. Like, I can't understand how you do it, because I can't keep stuff sealed. It's a very hard thing for me to do.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I love to rip.
Well, I'll give you Yeah, I'll give you a little interesting background on that just because I think it's part of my past as well.
Hmm.
So I have a very addictive personality. Obviously
Same.
collecting like this would yeah, like that's telling you something. Anyways, um, David, any other big revelations? No, we figured that out. Okay. So don't talk to yourself. You're on an interview with Colin and Austin right now. Shut up. I'm gonna go back to it. Okay, so when you have an addictive personality, and I'm big into gambling as a youth, and could be into sports gambling and the gambling at the casinos and stuff. So I haven't done that for years, but I never had luck. I never was the lucky gambler. I was the unlucky, right? If you pick, if I'm picking the spread on the game and it's 4 points, it's gonna be 3.5 or whatever. I'm gonna go the other way by half point. So so when you do that, you stop opening. You start to figure out I'm not going to have luck anyways. It's not going to be, I'm going to be disappointed is my feeling. So why not just stick to what I do? Get the sets where I've got everything and buy the boxes and keep them sealed. And I love looking at the sealed boxes. I really do. I love them. I love putting 2 theme decks on top of them. When I used to display them, I had a big, jewelry curio back in the old days when I could fit them in there. And so you'd have all that stuff displayed out with the lights on it and everything. But now, I'm in California. The world in California right now, I don't know if you know, is basically coming to an end.
Yeah.
So it's nice knowing you, and I'm glad you got me on early and often because California is not ready to fall into the ocean. So right now it's fires everywhere and anywhere. I haven't been out of my house in 10 days because the fires are probably 2 hours away, and the smoke is so thick here where we are, you can't even walk out of your house. You can't breathe.
Wow.
So all we talk about is what are we taking in the cars when the fires get here, and what's and my wife's like, how are you going to get all those boxes in? I go, honey, let's start, you got 20 minutes. We're starting rehearsing now. Okay. Okay. The box, a 6-case box. I'm going to throw those in. Each kid grab a box. I'm going to tell them which ones are the most valuable ones. Hopefully insurance will cover the rest. So yeah, it's definitely stuff you don't think about. She goes, the sprinkler system will go off in the house. It's all good. No, honey, that's not good. That's water. That's not better than fire.
Cardboard and water don't mix.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, but it's that's a key part of my collection. I almost had 2 of every box. I got very close, but I would be very hesitant at this point to try to buy another base edition, first edition.
Yeah.
Because you really have to be careful where it's coming from.
Oh yeah.
If there was a situation, maybe, but it kind of has dropped away of importance to me just because I've got to be careful with those kind of expenses now.
Yeah. It's funny, like I've seen so many people get scammed these days. It's almost, I feel like at least once a week, every other week, you see something about someone getting scammed in this community, and that's rough. Like, I know we saw TCA open up a box that it was scammed on. I think Rev did too. You just see it a lot. One thing about you that I just want to let people know, kind of promoting you a little bit, is if you ever need something like that you're looking for on eBay or anything, this guy has customer service down to a T. My first interaction with David and how I originally ran into him was through eBay. Was trying to buy a card off of him. I don't even remember what the card was now, but you messaged me, and the conversations and just kind of this exceptional service you offered me kind of displayed what kind of a person you were. And then as I saw that you started up a YouTube and started watching your videos and stuff, you kind of see that genuine person, how kind and stuff you are, come through. So I encourage you all, if you ever like looking through eBay and see, is it DPerson1 on eBay as well?
Yeah, and I'll just dovetail. First of all, I can't thank you enough, because obviously the kind words mean everything, and they're validation for what I always try and do. Anyone that reaches out to me for any reason is guaranteed to get a response, even if it's not a positive one in the sense that I can help them, but it is positive in the sense that I can deliver advice or tell them why I can't help them, etc. So I've always believed that if you kill them with kindness, that they will understand that you are genuine. And so I do thank you for that. The DPerson1, the reason I'll say that, the @DPerson1, is I encourage folks to follow me on Instagram, because probably tomorrow or the next day at the latest, I will announce that I've been working very hard on a new website, my own website. So it's hard when you're 6 years. 60 years old, trying to do it on my own, all by myself. I don't know what the hell's gotten into me. But anyways, well, I do have 500 items up there now, and I will dovetail the eBay stuff that I haven't moved over. I'll be able to sell it to people on that site as well. But it's my way to try to put all of these pieces together so that people who are looking for things for the collection that might be unique and different, reach out, ask me questions. How can I help? How can I do it? But hopefully sell for a little less than eBay as far as, some of the ways that we can do that when we're not on eBay. But being able to give back and be able to do things on my own and say, okay, we're doing 5% off or 10% off or whatever on all this stuff. So that's all going to be coming because I'm getting to the point where for me, I have to wind it down. It's hard to explain to people. You guys both look like you're just way too young. You could be my grandchildren for that matter. You too, Austin, even with the beard, okay? I look like you at 18. So I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, bearded guy. Bearded trainer 2. Bearded trainer Z, let's say. Bearded trainer 2. Is it 2 or Z, Austin?
2.
2. All right, what's the 2 for? Did somebody already have the 1?
Nope, favorite number.
Okay, good. Which is why you're collecting two guys, right?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, good. Yeah, not just one. So I have no idea what it was saying, but that was fun. That was good. I'll just stop right there. That's not what I was saying.
But that's just awesome how it is though, because then, personable, you reach out to everyone that comments, you try to comment back, whether it's good, bad. It's great that you attempt or do comment to everyone. And honestly, that's what makes this community great is a lot of people like to reach out to each other. And that's honestly how Colin and I met, was through the community. And we started this podcast together, and I've met a lot of really great people doing this. So it's one of those things that I enjoy doing what I do. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. I know what I was going to say now just to finish it. So people are like, what was he going to say? I was going to say at 60 years old, you start to, unfortunately, and especially, I had one of my clients who passed away at 70 about 2 weeks ago. I have a friend of a friend whose daughter passed away yesterday at 22. So you start to you feel your mortality. And, and so as much as I'd love to live till 90 or 95, maybe it's 80 or 85. There's not a ton of time left. And so I want to be able to share my love of the hobby with others while I can. I want to be able to sell off all my extras where other people can get the benefit of it and be able to see those beautiful cards now while I can do that as well. And eventually be able to get to a point where, my wife and I can live a little bit more simple, quiet life where 3/4 of the house are not filled with booster boxes, binder pages, and so for me it's kind of a good time to come out of I call it crawling out of my hole, and see where the journey takes me. It's definitely been fun. So yeah.
Well, that's incredible. We will make sure, guys, all of David's information is going to be in the description below. His YouTube, please go subscribe to him if you're not already. If you have found this podcast and you don't know who David is, go binge watch his videos because he has got so many stories to tell through just all those videos he's been putting out and sharing some of his collection. You see his Instagram tag on the screen now. And if your website is up when this video goes up, we'll be sure to put that in the description as well for people to go visit. And David, we can't thank you enough for joining us. It's been just absolutely awesome to have you. David he's a really cool picture of what this community is about, just the kindness and just willingness to help everyone. That's what kind of this hobby is all about, and what Austin and I hope to spread to all of you as well. So David, we can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me. And for those that are listening, if they get a hold of me at all, reach out. Nobody reaches out. I offer all the time. Reach out. I know a lot about a lot. I don't know a lot. Like I can't go, tell you every word in the English vocabulary. But if you want to know about resume writing or job hunting or what you should do, or have your website have a second look at it from a language and a marketing standpoint, from your cards and just options and those things, I am glad to assist with all of that. And the one thing I'll just say this is, I'll tell you when I don't know the answer. I'm not the person that's going to say, so, hey, I have no idea, let's try to figure it out. Or I'll say, you know what, here's exactly what you should do. And that's the kind of advice that's invaluable because I'm not charging you nothing. I'm just trying to help people. So come and get some help if I can help anybody in any way. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me. Best of luck on your stuff as well to both of you. Congratulations. Yeah.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank you.
it. I will say, definitely check this man's YouTube out. And like he said in one of his videos, you wouldn't start a book at chapter 3. Go back, start at number 1, watch it all the way through. You won't regret it. Trust me. It's perfect. It's a great time. Go check this man's YouTube out.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Thanks, Paul.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for watching this. So go subscribe to David, and we will catch you guys on the next podcast. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.